it just popped up. Okay.
West guys, 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 West guys. These guys know sports. Yeah. These guys know sports. These guys know.
And welcome to Wise Guys. These guys know sports, live on the Worldwide Sports Network on this Monday, July the 13th. Another day, another show on the Wise Guys. These guys know sports show with my co-host, Mr. Clarence Nixon. What's up, Clarence?
Hey, happy Monday to you, man. Happy Monday. Man.
Happy Monday to you. How was your weekend?
Weekend was fine, man. Just relaxed and chill. Got some rest in, so gotta keep going, man. It's a fresh new week, man.
Definitely is, man. So I'm gonna tell you about my weekend real quick. You know, my son Tramir's birthday was on Saturday, and so on Saturday morning at like 6:30 in the morning, like Tramir was calling me. You know, he was excited about his birthday. He called me like 8-9 times. I was still tired because I had a long work week, so he didn't even understand that Daddy was still tired from the work week. So I was asleep, and so he had a party on that day, and he had a sleepover, right? So at 10 o'clock, he got his buddies over there. They over there kicking it, having a good time. Tramir decides to take him an hour nap at like 10 o'clock because he was so tired and wore out because he was up the night before because he was so excited for his birthday. So he takes a nap in the middle of a sleepover. He's like that one friend that tells you for months, hey, I'm ready for my birthday. I can't wait for the turn up, only for that person to fall asleep on your way to the club or to the bar. Like, man, you a party pooper, man. Where your energy at? So Tramir falls asleep, wakes up about 11 o'clock, and then they have a good time the rest of the night, and then go to sleep till like 5 in the morning, him and his buddies. So he ended up having a good birthday, man. So it was a good weekend for me, being able to spend time with my son and celebrate his 7th birthday.
Man, he getting bigger, man. God, man, he's getting bigger. 3 more years, he'll be double digits.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But we got an action jam-packed show today for everyone. We're going to talk about Madden's quarterback ratings that just got released today. Also, we're going to talk about later on the show the Washington Redskins. They officially announced that they will be retiring the team nickname. And also later on the show, we're going to talk about Russell Westbrook, unfortunately, tested positive for the coronavirus. But we got to begin in Dallas as Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott contract negotiations continue. And D'Angelo Hall, he recently came out with some interesting comments. He said, quote, he believes that Dak Prescott would be extremely happy with a $35 million annual contract. So basically the question here is, Clarence, should Cowboy fans be worried about the Cowboys getting a deal done with Dak because they have until July 15th, which is Wednesday, to get a deal done, or he's going to have to play under that franchise tag. So should Cowboy fans be worried at this point?
I think so. I truly believe that the Dallas Cowboy fans should be worried about Dak Prescott getting a deal done within 48 hours of play. Well, 72 hours, excuse me. But here's this though, Trey. This Cowboy team is ranked top 10 at their very position, quarterback, running back, receiver. So that's benefit for the Dallas Cowboys. So if you just, like I said, don't want to get the deal done for Prescott, then he wasn't your best option for the future for the Cowboys. Now for the 35 million like exclusive tag, that's a lot of money. I ain't gonna lie, that's a lot of money, but at the same time, you've been fighting for a whole contract for a whole year, and these 2 days are meaningless. Like them days, every minute, second counts because they need a deal done. And now Patrick Mahomes, he set the market. He resetted the whole market. Dak Prescott is definitely looking for what he wants as a $40 million a year deal, and he wants that now. In these 48 hours, every second counts, Trey. Every second count. Like, he wants that. He wants it. If he don't get it right now, it's a possibility he can sit out or he's going to play on it. So I'm weighing them two options right there.
Yeah, I think Cowboy fans should start getting worried because if they don't re-sign Dak Prescott, then basically next year he's going to get a higher franchise tag. Basically next year, and so there's going to be issues because they're going to have to pay him significantly more. But that's kind of how we're looking at it from that perspective. So I think I look at it like next year if they can franchise tag him again next season, but that number is going to go up, or they can sign into another deal and it'll be a longer contract, but he'll be getting paid somewhere in the range similar to Patrick Mahomes. And Dak Prescott doesn't deserve Patrick Mahomes' money. He just does not. He doesn't deserve to be paid like an elite quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, or you're going to lose Dak. So I think those are the three options now on the table. Next year, they're going to either franchise tag him for even more money than they are paying him this season, or they'll reach a nice deal with him on the long-term side, but he's going to be getting paid like Patrick Mahomes, and he doesn't deserve it, or they're going to lose Dak Prescott all the way around, and they won't even have his services next season. So I believe Cowboy fans should start getting worried because Jerry Jones, he should have gotten the deal done a year ago or 2 years ago. Yeah. But I think he still wanted Dak to prove that he was worth a nice contract. But, Dak, for the most part, has proven that he's at least a good quarterback and can get you to the playoffs. Besides, last year, he didn't get to the playoffs last year, and he did have some statistical good numbers. But, I don't know. I feel like the longer these negotiations go on, and if Dak Prescott can have a nice statistical season again next year, it just increases his leverage.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We're not saying that Dak Prescott should deserve Patrick Mahomes' money, but he deserved to be in them conversations with the top quarterbacks in the league, though. So he should get a good amount of money. He's well deserved over it. I truly believe that is the most important thing for him and Jerry Jones to do. Just get a hit a deal, get it done. And then you move on from there. These 48 hours is definitely going to be crucial, though, Trey. These are going to be some crucial hours. And I'm very excited to see it.
So do you agree with D'Angelo Hall? Do you believe $35 million annually? Do you think that's enough for Dak Prescott? Or do you think he deserves more? Because I think Dak wants like $40 million a year. So what do you think?
I'm going to say this. Let's just put this by example. So imagine if he's there for a couple of years, he's getting paid $35 million a year. That will put him, third highest paid quarterback in the league? Before Patrick Mahomes get his deal done? Nah, I think Dak Prescott, he feel like his value is more than $35 million a year. I think for D'Angelo Hall, he's saying it just to be on the safe side, like, hey, you're comfortable, you're getting this chunk a year, and this is another year for you to prove it. But Dak is telling everyone his value is more than critics and whatever. He just feel like he deserves $40 million a year. I truly believe it.
See, I think he deserves somewhere around $35 million a year. I think that's a nice number for Dak Prescott because Dak Prescott is not elite. I know you think Dak Prescott is elite, and you actually think he's better than Carson Wentz. He's not better than Carson Wentz. He's more reliable than Carson Wentz. I'll give you that. But Carson Wentz plays at a higher level than Dak Prescott. I told you last year. That was a prime example. Last year was a prime example as to why Carson Wentz is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. Last year, Dak Prescott had Randall Cobb, Michael Gallup, Mark Cooper at the receiving positions. He had Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield and couldn't even get his team to the postseason. Meanwhile, in Philly, Carson Wentz, he had nobody's at the skill position spots for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he still got the Eagles to the playoffs. So I think Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. He's not great, but he's good, and I think he's better than quarterbacks like maybe Jared Goff, Ryan Tannehill, Jimmy Garoppolo. Those are quarterbacks that Dak Prescott is better than. But he's not better. He's not better than Carson Wentz. He's not better than Aaron Rodgers. He's not better than Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson.
But listen, here's the thing. Dak Prescott is more proven than Carson Wentz, in my own opinion. Regardless of the seasons went by, Carson Wentz has improved to us that he can lead his team to a playoff win, which is Dak Prescott has done for the Dallas Cowboys. That right there holds a lot of leverage on him. Yes, Carson Wentz he's a talented quarterback, but at the same time, he has been reliable. He has been reliable enough to lead them into the playoff. His first ever game in a playoff, he got injured. That's one strike right there, Trey.
But you brought up Dak Prescott's playoff record. Dak Prescott's playoff record is only 1-2. He's only had 3 playoff games he's played in his career. You act like he's played in significant amount of more games than Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is 0-1, and he didn't even last a quarter in his one long playoff appearance against the Seattle Seahawks. But you act like Dak Prescott has this huge sample size of playoff moments where he balled out. He doesn't have a huge. He doesn't have a huge resume in the playoffs either.
He does though, Trey. He does. He has significant moments when he balled out against the Seattle, against probably the top 5 Russell Wilson. In my opinion, right there, he did ball out. He showed him that he's willing to win, and he's proven.
But the following week, he lost to Jared Goff. So I mean, I'm not taking nothing away from Dak Prescott.
At this point, Jared Goff is significantly better than Carson Wentz because he's proven.
Oh, what?
Hey,
Jared Goff is better than Carson Wentz?
Listen.
You need to be stopped.
Carson Wentz might be in trouble with Jalen Hurts coming into town. So that's what he should be worried about right there. Because Jalen Hurts is probably the next thing up in a few more years.
Carson Wentz ain't got to worry about no Jalen Hurts. He ain't got to worry about no Jalen Hurts.
I'm not taking everything away. I'm not taking everything away from Carson Wentz. But at the same time, you gotta point out like the X's instead of the check marks. Look, he hasn't been durable. He hasn't been durable, and he couldn't lead his team to the playoffs. I mean, not to the playoffs, but to the playoff win. And like you said, he got hurt in the first quarter. Come on, man. You are a franchise quarterback. We are paying you what 138 million. That's an extension right there. You're one of the top 5 highest paid quarterbacks. That's right there, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, the fact that Carson Wentz even got his team to the playoffs last year speaks to the caliber player that he is. Listen, Carson Wentz is significantly better than Jared Goff and Dak Prescott. You remember back in 2017, the year that Carson Wentz got injured, he was an MVP candidate before his injury. He had 33 touchdowns, just 7 interceptions, completed 60% of his passes, and had over 3,000 passing yards. And I know Nick Foles gets the credit because that's the same year that they beat Tom Brady and the Patriots in the Super Bowl. But Carson Wentz had them in the position to get to the playoffs, Clarence. Carson Wentz had them in the position to win the NFC East that particular year. Carson Wentz is nothing to be sneezed at as a quarterback. He is a franchise caliber quarterback, in my opinion, and someone who you can give the football to and say, hey, win me this game. I need you to win me this game and carry us to the promised land. He proved it last year. And again, the Eagles had no talent at the skill position spots. None. And he got them to the playoffs. Like I said, I think Dak Prescott, he deserves to get paid good money, but not great. I think $35 million a year is right around the range that I would want to pay him if I was Jerry Jones and the Cowboys.
I'm gonna just say this before we go on to the next topic. Dak Prescott, if he plays on this exclusive franchise tag, I promise you he's gonna perform better than Wentz, Goff, Kirk Cousins, maybe even Wilson. If him and Mike McCarthy can get on the same.
Better than who?
I'm just telling you this.
Did you just say we gonna perform better than Russell? Let's go to the next topic. This dude just said that Dak Prescott gonna perform better than Russell Wilson. You need to stop, man. Your football IQ.
No, it's not no football. Look, you gotta think about it. He has a future Hall of Fame coach in Mike McCarthy that Mike McCarthy helped evaluate your favorite quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. So I wouldn't be surprised if he helped elevate Dak Prescott.
Okay, so let me ask you a question before we move on. You talk about how great Mike McCarthy is, and I do think Mike McCarthy is a good coach. I'm not taking nothing away from Mike McCarthy.
Second winningest coach in last decade and this.
But listen now, those years when Aaron Rodgers had those collarbone injuries, what happened with us? We struggled. We struggled with Brett Huntley and Matt Flynn. We couldn't even win games with just Mike McCarthy. The reason why the Packers have had success throughout the years is because of the greatness of Aaron Rodgers. Don't try to say it's Mike McCarthy. I think Mike McCarthy is a good coach, but he isn't a great coach. You know who I think is a great coach? No, he's not. He's good. You know who I think a great coach is? I think it's Mike Tomlin. Look at what Mike Tomlin did last year with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had nobodies at quarterback last year. Nobodies. And he had them one game away from the playoffs. But we can move on Everybody going to follow.
Last 2 years.
Everybody go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. We live on the Worldwide Sports Network. Let's move to some NBA and talk about the Lakers. As Rajon Rondo broke his right thumb in practice and is out 6 to 8 weeks. So the question here is, Clarence, how much will this impact LeBron and the Lakers' title chances?
Well, first of all, they lost another ball handler in Rondo. And this is a severe loss, Trey. You got to be honest, though, because when you lose a veteran like that, you lose another ball handler, another leader, another person that's been through situations to win a championship. And that's just a key loss. And I was just thinking to myself, now Rondo is going to be out for a couple weeks. Should maybe y'all convince Avery Bradley for a return? I mean, Dwight Howard, at first he decided he was going to opt out, but now he decided to come back. So I think this would be the perfect setup plan to bring Avery Bradley back because they need another guard.
Yeah, but Avery Bradley already said he's not coming to the bubble because I think his son has respiratory issues. So he doesn't want to put his son at risk or his son's health at risk to come and play NBA basketball for 2 months. So Avery Bradley's out the question. I believe when you look at the title chance for the Lakers, I don't think this really decreases their title chances to win the NBA championship this year. And I'm gonna tell you why. I'm not so sure what kind of production you was going to get out of Rondo anyway. I will give Rondo credit. What? There's a moment, hold on, because Rondo struggled mightily this year. He hasn't been always consistent. But I will say throughout the course of his career, Rondo has had some playoff moments. They don't call him playoff Rondo for nothing. So I think he has some leadership that he can bring to the table as a player. But I think LeBron James already knew that majority of the weight was going to be on his shoulders anyway. So I believe the fact that this is one less ball handler that the Lakers have on their roster, it's going to just increase the load on LeBron James. But the good thing for Laker fans and LeBron James is LeBron James has been off for the last 5 months. So him being 35 years of age, he should be able to have enough in the tank to get it done for the Lakers. I don't think it will happen. I think the Lakers are going to lose to the Clippers. I already told you that. But I think LeBron, the load that he's going to have to carry now increases because you have one less ball handler on the floor. But ultimately, do I believe it's going to impact whether or not they win a championship or not? I don't believe it will. I don't. I think Avery Bradley was a more significant loss than Rajon Rondo.
But listen. I hear what you're saying. For that point of view. And I definitely believe that the LA Lakers are still going to beat the Clippers because playoff LeBron, excuse me, is ridiculous. It's just a ridiculous player. But here's this. That's not like they got enough ball handlers to pass the ball around. But for LeBron James, it's gonna be him and AD. Then the two top stars in the NBA. Can they both show up and lead this team into the playoff? But for Rondo, that is a significant loss because at this point he was taking just 3-point shooting. He was taking a lot of 3-point shooting. He was coming into this game and he was still dishing out the passes, which was affected when LeBron was sitting out. And I'm just say this. If Rondo, hopefully, if he come back in the middle of the playoff, it will give them a big boost. It will give them a big boost. It get the ball out of LeBron's hands, and it just gonna make things more flexible enough for them to do more. Because once you got the ball out of LeBron's hand, you can try to maneuver with the players like J.R. Smith and AD and Deion Waiters, which I think he's gonna be playing significant numbers now since Rondo is out. So he's going to be another ball handler. I think they're going to be just fine. I think they're just going to be fine. They just got to let the game come to them, Trey. No overreaction. So you say no, it won't be a major impact on their title chances? You say no? No, it won't be no big. No, it will be actually a challenge for the young ones on the Lakers team to show their true talents in the playoffs, especially with LeBron James. So it's going to open up a new door for them. So if they can manage that, keep the ball out of LeBron's hand, not like 90%, I think it'd be fine. It will be fine. They got enough players to be a ball handler. Before the NBA shut down, the Lakers were first in the Western Conference with a record of 49-14, and LeBron James was emerging as an MVP candidate right along there with Giannis. So my question for you is, on the second part of this Lakers segment, do you believe as we come back to the NBA and the NBA resumes later in July, do you believe the Lakers
should be the favorites to win the championship.
Yeah, definitely. I think they have the most experienced players on their team as of right now, and I truly believe with LeBron James on your team, and you can win. You can win. Like the minimum is the NBA Finals with LeBron James because he went 8 years back and he's just showing up, play 40 plus minutes that you needed from him, the minutes that you expect from him. I think the Lakers are the pinpoint NBA Finals champions in my opinion, because when you have a playoff LeBron, it gets very scary. And look, I'm not a LeBron fan, Trey. I'm not a LeBron fan, but I watched the man over basically all my life, and I know what he brings to the table. So what he brings to the table is integrity, hard work, and entertaining.
Yeah, see, I told you this before on Wise Guys on our show. I told you a few months ago when the NBA first shut down, if the season would have continued at the rate it was going, because we've seen the Lakers have that weekend series when they beat the Bucks on a Friday night in LA, and then they turned around on Sunday afternoon at Staples and they beat the Clippers. I thought the Lakers were trending in the right direction, and they pretty much had their foot on the gas pedal heading into the playoffs. I thought they were the favorites heading into the playoffs, although before the season I picked the Clippers to win a championship. But I think because we had the NBA shutdown, I think that kind of put a halt and it stopped the Lakers' momentum. The Lakers had all the momentum before the shutdown. And I kind of related to when you drive in a car. When you drive in a car and you have to all of a sudden hit the brakes real fast, it's hard to gear back up and get everything back up and going. And I think that's the biggest question that I have about LeBron. He's 35 years of age. Father Time is undefeated. If they would have went right into the playoffs, I think the Lakers would have had a better chance to beat the Clippers in the Western Conference Finals and get to the finals and win. But because they had this NBA shutdown, I think it benefited the Clippers more so than the Lakers. And let me tell you why. Because I believe it gave Paul George and Kawhi Leonard a chance to rest up and gear up for the playoffs. Like, they hadn't really played many games throughout the regular season together. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, they hadn't played many games. And so now they're going to get a chance to come back before the playoffs, play a few games together, build up some chemistry. And I think the Clippers are the favorites in the NBA to win the NBA championship in Orlando when we return. I say the Clippers are going to win the championship before the season. And now that we are at this point now, we're going to have an NBA restart. I still believe that Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Doc Rivers are going to get it done ultimately, because I think they got too many bodies they can throw at LeBron James. You got Morris, George, Leonard, Beverly. You have so many bodies that you can throw at LeBron James, and I'm not so sure if LeBron is going to have enough in the tank in a late playoff series.
Man, you think you're tripping right now, man. Let me list the playoff players that won championships on championship teams. Danny Green, San Antonio Spurs, and Toronto Raptors. J.R. Smith, the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James. JaVale McGee, the Golden State Warriors. Rajon Rondo when he's come back. Boston Celtics. Them are players. Them are key players that's going to play important roles in the playoff. That's going to show up, man. I'm just telling you this. This Lakers team is the most experienced team in the NBA, and they're the favorites and the big favorites to win the championship, Trey, man.
So you're going to sit up here and act like the Clippers don't have championship experience with Kawhi Leonard being a two-time NBA champion, Doc Rivers winning the championship with the Boston Celtics. We got Tyronn Lue also won a championship with LeBron in 2016 with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think the Clippers also got the coaching advantage. They have a better coaching staff than the Lakers. I think Doc Rivers is a significantly better coach than Frank Vogel, and you also got Tyronn Lue on that staff. So I think the Clippers have the edge in multiple departments.
I'm gonna just say this: they do have a nice better staff. But for Vogel, his coaching strategy, he brings defense to this team, and I think that this Lakers team is very underrated on the defensive side. But everybody, remember, go follow Wise Guys on Facebook or Wise Guys Instagram. These guys know sport, and Twitter. Wise Guy _H, and we are live on a worldwide sports radio network. I just truly believe, though, Trey, that the Lakers is going to be the favorites to win this championship in Orlando, which let's go bring LeBron's fourth championship back home to LA, and I think it's going to happen this year. And I truly believe it. I truly believe it. And Kawhi Leonard, he's a fantastic player, but LeBron James is going to outshine him in the playoffs.
Let me ask you another question before we move on to the next segment and Russell Westbrook. In the Eastern Conference, do you believe the Milwaukee Bucks can win a championship? Do you believe in Milwaukee overall?
I believe that they can make the NBA Finals. I give you that. But let me tell you this: if it came down to Giannis playing against the Clippers, I think it would be more possibly easy for him. But it probably
easy.
I'm gonna say this.
You say easy? Wait. So you think it'd be an easier matchup for Giannis and the Bucks against the Clippers and the Lakers?
I think Giannis finally understand that what type of player that he's playing against in Kawhi Leonard and that what he brings to the table. And for Paul George, he's still questionable about his playoff experience of showing up. So that's gonna be something more or less delightful to see. Now you playing when they played against the LA Lakers, they're basically throwing tall trees at him. Something that they just smother him and force shooters to shoot. And that's gonna possibly be a problem right then and there when your star player is getting double teamed and crumbled up in the paint. That's just me.
I guess you forgot about the 2019 Eastern Conference Finals when Kawhi Leonard and the Toronto Raptors and Nick Nurse, when they built that wall up and Giannis had no answers for that Toronto Raptors defense. I guess you forgot about that, huh? And now
we got no wall, but we got no wall.
But they still got nice perimeter defenders. They got Kawhi Leonard, they got Paul George, two of the best two-way players we have in the NBA. They got a nice defensive player also in Montrezl Harrell. They make no mistake about it. The Clippers can get key stops when they need to. That's why I think they got the edge in the NBA right now as far as being able to win a championship, because they have multiple players that can do multiple things. And that's why I think they're the team to beat right now. But let's move on to the next topic, as Russell Westbrook has tested positive for the coronavirus. So the question here is, what kind of impact do you believe it's going to have on the rest of the NBA?
I think the NBA, they might update their protocols with the dealing with the coronavirus, because now Russell Westbrook he was tested for it and for corona, and now they want to evaluate their protocols even more now. Now they expected he's still expected to play in the bubble, but we don't know for now when he's going to be healthy enough to play in the bubble. But just think about it. If he wasn't playing the first 4 games, that right there would have been not well, because at the end of the day, the Rockets they need that type of prolific scorer and Russell Westbrook. He just spread the ball around. James Harden is just gonna make it more easier for him to play his game. That's just me, in my opinion.
Yeah, see, man, I'm getting worried, Clarence. I'm gonna be honest. Everybody remember going follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. We're live here on the Worldwide Sports Network. I'm worried. I'm getting worried, Clarence. The closer we get to late July, I'm getting worried. I'm not so sure if we're going to have, or not even have. I'm not so sure if we're going to be able to finish the NBA postseason, because I got to sneeze. Sorry about that. I'm not so sure if we're going to be able to finish because I'm seeing Russell Westbrook test positive. We're not sure if any other players are going to test positive within the next few weeks before the NBA actually starts back up. I'm a little worried, Clarence, and I'm also worried if one of these superstar players catch the coronavirus. Russell Westbrook, most NBA fans would consider him a superstar player. Luckily, he caught it early in the process because they just now get into the bubble. So after 2 weeks, Russell Westbrook should be ready to go. But what if Kawhi Leonard in the middle of a playoff series, or Anthony Davis in the middle of a huge playoff series catches the coronavirus? It's going to be an issue, because we're going to look at those teams and say they lost one of their key star players. They weren't at full strength, and it's frustrating, man. But we know it's all about money. That's what the NBA is about. They're trying to make some money and bring the sport back to have a postseason to in some kind of way
Yeah.
have some money and have a postseason because they want to make it's all about the money. They had to make some type of money with these TV contracts and so forth. So that's what it's really about.
Yeah, but then at the same time, though, like his absence to the Rocket team, it's going to affect them a lot because he brings like that excitement to the Rocket team. He gives them that other juice, that other ball handler instead of James Harden. And the thing is that him missing the game significantly, like what are the next answers for the Houston Rockets? What's the next question for James Harden? Like what will he bring to the table now? That's gonna be all eyes on him now.
Yeah, I agree with you, but we'll see what happens. But I think, let me ask you a question about the bubble though, in the NBA in the bubble. We heard Joel Embiid's comments last week, and he said he doesn't believe players are going to follow the protocols in the bubble. Do you believe that the players are going to follow the proper protocols to keep themselves safe away from the coronavirus and keep themselves healthy?
I think so. I think they will though, but at the same time though, you got to monitor them even more though, because they be coming out of game, emotions gonna be high, and they're gonna be tired. I mean, be forgetting what to do in them protocols. So it'd be the like NBA coaches and the NBA team to keep an eye on them and monitor them even more though, so they can stay healthy enough to play through the whole season. Like it's 8 games left. It is straight. It's 8 games left. And if you want your players to stay healthy, you gotta do what's best to keep them healthy, man. That's just me.
Yeah, but I don't see these players following the protocols. I just don't see it. And the fact that Joel Embiid came out last week and said he doesn't believe players are going to follow the protocol, I think Joel Embiid was talking about himself. I don't think Joel Embiid trusts himself. And he just happened to speak, and he tried to bring up about the other players. I don't think Joel Embiid trusts himself. But overall, I think it's going to be tough for the NBA to finish the postseason. I really do, and I think it's going to be hard for these players to follow these protocols. These players, it's hard to keep them, and manage them even in everyday life. So just imagine being in a bubble when you can't leave, you can't go anywhere. Like it's I mean, it's going to be tough. I feel like it's going to be real tough, and we'll see what happens. But do you believe that this? Because of all the circumstances surrounding the NBA and the bubble with the coronavirus and so forth, do you believe this championship will be easier or harder for whatever team that wins?
I think it's gonna be harder because at the same time you're gonna be playing day in and day out, and you're gonna have to still go through the protocols and stuff. And it's gonna be times that you're not even gonna want to go to the protocol. It's gonna be times that you want to be focusing on the game, so that's gonna have to be monitored a lot by the NBA coaches and the staff. Man, I truly believe it.
I disagree. I think it's gonna be easier to win a championship because you just had 5 months off, so you had plenty of time to prepare. Your body should be healed up. You should be 100% ready to go. And also, because you playing in the bubble, there's not much to do but focus on basketball. I don't want to hear no excuses. You are in the bubble. So therefore, after games, you get to go to your room, play video games or whatever. You can Skype your girlfriend, whatever, Skype any family members. I think they even got golf. You can go play golf, and they're going to have like game rooms and so forth. Listen, you ain't got many options. After a few weeks, that's going to get old. You should be focusing on winning basketball games. I think it's harder to win a championship when I got all these distractions around me, when I can go to the club after the game, when I can go kick it at a friend's house after the game. You don't have many options being in that bubble in Orlando. Therefore, I think it's going to be easier for a team to win a championship.
See, I disagree with you there. I think if at the same time, like say for example, like you said, Kawhi Leonard catch the coronavirus in the playoffs and at the wrong time. So that's gonna be something. That's gonna be something that you have to monitor, and you guys have to decide: should y'all keep playing this guy with it, or you just gonna sit him out and he gonna have to self-quarantine for 2 more weeks? 2 more weeks. That's gonna be very crucial. It's gonna be between the business or the team, Trey.
They can't play him with it though. Any player that gets the coronavirus, they have to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. You can't put other players at risk. They have to self-quarantine. Yeah. But let's move on. As NFL Madden came out with their quarterback ratings, and I'm gonna read y'all some of these ratings. Let's go down some of these ratings, Clarence. We got Carson Wentz overall 84. Excuse me. We got Dak Prescott at overall 84. We got Deshaun Watson overall 86. We got Matt Ryan overall 87. Aaron Rodgers 89. Tom Brady 90. Drew Brees 93. Lamar Jackson 94. Russell Wilson 97. And Patrick Mahomes 99, of course. So, do you agree with these Madden ratings?
Absolutely not. Oh no. Nah, I don't agree with him though. I'm a little biased by him too though. But at the same time, I do not agree with those, Trey. I do not agree with those. Like I feel like they started from 84 and then to 99. And I'm gonna be honest. Lamar Jackson should be higher than Russell Wilson at this point because he was the league MVP and he produced 1,200 rushing yards. That's what's more impressive than Russell Wilson. I truly believe he should be a 96 or a 97. And for Aaron Rodgers, oof, he took a big loss. But at the same time, I kind of understand the loss that he took. And for Brady, I think that's a good one right there. And Carson Wentz, he's fine right there. Prescott, he could have been bumped up more, but hey, it is what it is. But Patrick Mahomes, though, at 99, I think that's well deserved for him. You're mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was muted. Sorry about that. I want to say, first of all, I disagree with you about your takeaway on the overall list. I disagree with the Madden list overall, and I also disagree with your reasoning. I disagree with you about saying that Lamar Jackson is a better quarterback than Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is better than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, excuse me, Lamar Jackson had an MVP season last year, 36 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, led his team to the AFC divisional round of the playoffs. But Lamar Jackson is not the caliber passer that Russell Wilson is. And I don't think Lamar Jackson is as proven as Russell Wilson is either. So I think Lamar, while he had a good season, he's not on Russell Wilson's level. Also, Dak Prescott and Carson Wentz shouldn't be rated the same number. I think Carson Wentz should be maybe 87, 88. I think it's disrespectful to have Aaron Rodgers rating lower than Tom Brady's. Aaron Rodgers is higher than an 89. Aaron Rodgers is higher than 89. He's at least a 92 in my opinion. And I think Aaron Rodgers actually is better than Drew Brees as well at this point in his career.
Brady is better than Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers. So I don't understand why they Drew Brees got a 93 overall. But that's something that probably as possible have to think about. But I think for these man ratings though, Lamar Jackson, and in my opinion, that he was exciting in that season last year, regardless of the playoff ball.
Yeah, I hear you. I agree with you. Do you believe Drew Brees is really better than Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career?
You
hear me?
What you say?
Do you believe that Drew Brees is better than Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career?
I still don't believe it. I don't believe Drew Brees is better than Aaron Rodgers, but I gotta say this: not Aaron Rodgers, but Drew Brees has the better weapons than Aaron Rodgers have currently right now, and I think that benefit him more than we saying that Aaron Rodgers is better than Drew Brees. But at this point, Drew Brees is better than Aaron Rodgers because for Aaron Rodgers, he don't have the enough supporting cast to lead, but Brees though he has one of the best receivers in the league, so he's better than Devontae, significantly better.
No, he's not. Stop it. He's not significantly better than Devontae. He's not. Stop. He's not better than Devontae. Listen. I know he got the reception record, but look at Michael Thomas' statistical numbers in the playoffs. He hasn't done much in the playoffs at all. I'm not saying he's not a great, a nice quality receiver, but he's not better than Devontae Adams. He ain't even better than Odell Beckham. You think he's better than Odell. Michael Thomas is not better. He's not better than Odell Beckham. But I think Aaron Rodgers is still better than Drew Brees. I don't know why people think that Drew Brees is a better quarterback than Aaron. I don't understand why. Because last year, even with a less supporting cast than Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers had 26 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions, and had for over 4,000 passing yards last year. So, and that was just with Devontae Adams as his reliable option at receiver. Aaron Rodgers is better than Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and Lamar Jackson still at this point in his career. Lamar Jackson had a good season last year, but Lamar Jackson cannot throw the ball like Aaron Rodgers in the pocket. That's the only questions I have about Lamar. I think he has tremendous upside, and I'm excited for his future. But I don't think he has the throwing ability like a Russell Wilson or like an Aaron Rodgers or even a Drew Brees for that matter at this moment in his career. So I think Lamar is a little bit lower. He should be a little bit lower on this list. Can you hear me? Yeah, so let's move on. Let's talk about Matty Ice. Do you think Matty Ice is a top 10 quarterback too? Can you hear me?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you. Go ahead. You mute. I think you muted yourself. Unmute yourself.
Now, you said Matty Ice. Do I believe Matty Ice is a top 10 quarterback?
Yes.
Yeah, I truly believe. Yeah, he is definitely a top 10 quarterback in the league.
Yeah, okay, I can understand that. I actually think Carson Wentz is playing at a higher level than Matty Ice right now. I think Carson Wentz is playing at a higher level. Last year, Matty Ice did get to the playoffs last year. Carson Wentz got his team to the playoffs with nobodies, like I said earlier in the show. What you say?
I think Matty Ice is more proven than Carson Wentz. I think Matty Ice, he actually brought him an MVP trophy to the Atlanta Falcons and took them to the Super Bowl, but he lost to the great Tom Brady. I think, and Matty Ice is right there. He's more proven than Wentz, Trey. You just gotta accept that. Wentz just have to win a playoff game to show us that he's more proven.
Yeah, I think Matty Ice is more proven than Carson Wentz, but I think Carson Wentz had a better season last year. But I think Deshaun Watson got a little bit slighted too. Deshaun Watson should be higher than 8th. I don't think Deshaun Watson should be 8th. I think he should be higher than Matty Ice and even higher than Tom Brady. I think Deshaun Watson should be a little bit higher.
Yeah, I think that when they didn't rank Deshaun Watson that high, it was like a question mark. Like, huh? Like, did he lead Buffalo? Like, did he lead the Houston Texans to the playoffs against Buffalo Bills in that wild card? And it was and I forgot. I'm like, I don't understand how people forgot about that. He led the Houston Texans team playoffs and won the playoffs against a top 5 defense in the Buffalo Bills. That's something that they're definitely missing out. And I just believe that Deshaun Watson, he is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, for certain. But I think he should be higher than 8th too. But let me ask you another question about these Madden ratings. Which player in Madden history did you dominate games with the most? Like playing Madden throughout the years. Which player did you dominate games with the most? Who was it?
Good question. Believe it or not, I used to dominate with I used to dominate with your quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
Don't you try to name Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback. You always disrespecting my guy.
I'm not disrespecting him, but his father times is catching up. And I'm being honest. I used to play with Aaron Rodgers a lot, and sometimes I used to use the killer bees and with Ben Roethlisberger because he had Le'Veon and Antonio Brown, and it was very interesting when playing with him. But Aaron Rodgers.
What? Wait a minute. Wait. How are you? I think I need to question, and I think I should take away your license to be a Bengals fan. How in the hell are you using the Killer Bees and picking the Steelers, and you a Bengals fan? I would never pick the Bears, ever, under any circumstance would I ever pick the Chicago Bears. You picking the Pittsburgh Steelers? There should be like a written rule somewhere that says Bengal fans can't pick the Steelers when you play a video game.
Hey, listen. I'm gonna look. Oh man, I almost got drafted. I got drafted to the Steelers, and I requested a trade, man. So I'm a Bengals for life, man. I'm a Bengals for life, man. You know, I hate the Steelers. I hate their guts, man. But at the same time, you have to respect their greatness that on that team that Mike Tomlin made. You have to respect that. As much as I hate it, like you just have to respect some type of team that Mike Tomlin brings, man. Like that helps develop every single game. You know, go through the craziest moments and still overcome them. He got a top 5 defense. Like that's impressive. And I'm happy that they didn't make the playoffs. So that's a plus for us. Woo-woo.
Right. So let's move on back to some NBA. As Kenny Smith, he ranked his top 10 NBA players of all time, and he had LeBron James at 10th. So do you think it's ridiculous to not have LeBron higher than 10th on the all-time NBA greats list?
I definitely think it's ridiculous. LeBron James is like literally a top 5 player, top 3 player, maybe top 2 player. I'm just being honest. Right there. He brought a lot of greatness in the past decade.
You said top 2?
Yeah, like top 2
of all time.
Top 2 of all time.
I disagree, but go ahead.
I'm gonna just say that. I'm just being honest. Look. What he brings to the table has no other player couldn't do. Like, especially at a young age, you know how dominant and entertaining he was, man. And he was just greatness, man. And I truly believe that the 3-1 deficit against the Warriors, that was very impressive in LeBron's career. Like that right there, that like put like almost the whip on the cake though, but he still felt like he can win another one. He got something to prove. But LeBron James, man, at 10th spot is ridiculous. Kenny Smith, he needs to go get drug tested. Like honestly, he needs to go get drug tested for this shenanigans stuff. But,
yeah. I agree that LeBron is ranked. He should be ranked higher than 10th, but I don't have him top 2 in my NBA all-time greatest players list, not yet. But I think that for Kenny Smith to say he's ranked 10th, he had a lot of players ranked above LeBron that played back in the day. And I think that's part of the problem with NBA greats. They still are living in the 60s and the 70s, Clarence, and the 80s. Like, we got to move to now. The athletes now are better than they were back in the 70s and the 80s. The game was more physical back then, but now the game it's more of a finesse game. You got to be able to shoot. You got to be able to do multiple things well. I think the game now, you have to be more skillful than back then. So I think that sometimes these NBA greats, they get caught up in those players that played back then, and they do deserve respect. They deserve some respect for sure. Like, I'm not taking nothing away from Wilt Chamberlain and you know, Oscar Robertson, those players like that. I think we might have lost Clarence. Everybody remember going to follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram with These Guys Know Sports. You back? Okay, we got you back. So I'm continuing. I was basically talking about the NBA greats always continuing to live in the past time, ranking some of these players above current players. But overall, I think LeBron James in my generation, I think he's a top 5 player, like easily. Like when I think about players since I've been watching basketball and understanding basketball, the top 5 players of my generation, I would say is Kobe, Jordan, LeBron, Tim Duncan, and Shaq. Like, I think that's the top. That's not even no particular order. I'm just thinking about since I've been understanding basketball, I would say those 5. I gotta give Tim Duncan a nod because he's the greatest power forward of all time. We know how great MJ is with 6 championships on his resume, 6 Finals MVPs. We know and admire the greatness of Kobe Bryant, RIP to the Black Mamba. You know, 5-time champion, 18-time All-Star, 2-time Finals MVP. Kobe Bryant is one of the greatest scorers and competitors of NBA history. So, you know, and LeBron James, obviously, you know, he's one of the best all-around players that we have in NBA history. And he's a true facilitator. Like, he's actually he can score the basketball, but he's a better facilitator than even a scorer. And he's already top 5 on the NBA all-time scoring list. So, that, you know, I just think Kenny Smith is wrong to have LeBron ranked 10th on his all-time scoring list. But I think Kenny Smith is caught up in that NBA pastime. And I think he gave them a little bit more credit than he gives LeBron James.
Man, yeah. But Kenny, he definitely needs to get drug tested for what he said, putting LeBron James. And then he put your favorite player, Kobe Bryant, at 11th spot. So I'm like, oh, wow, man.
He got Kobe at 11th?
Man, I'm just saying. I don't know, but Charles Barkley definitely had Kobe at 11.
What? Wow. Kobe, that's so disrespectful. Oh, man, Kobe ranked at 11?
I think my bad. I think it was Kenny Smith because Charles Barkley had LeBron 6 and Kobe 7. My apologize, but the numbers are ridiculous. Them two players are top 5 players, but LeBron James, he's probably one of the best players that ever played in the NBA. And what he brings to the table is like pure dominance, and players are adapting to his game into their game because they see greatness in that game and they want to have greatness in theirs. As
great as LeBron James is, though, I don't have LeBron James ranked above Kobe or Jordan yet. I don't. And we could get into that on later shows, but I still think Kobe and Jordan were slightly better than LeBron James, especially in the biggest moments of their careers. But last thing I want to say on this topic, I will say this. Kenny Smith knows his basketball. I think Kenny Smith is one of the most intellectual basketball minds we have in the NBA. Like, he knows the game. I think he deserves a head coaching opportunity as well. He just was wrong here. I'm not going to take away from his basketball intellect, and I'm never going to question his basketball IQ, because Kenny Smith is one of the most smartest, and the way he breaks down film, on NBA on TNT, which is a great show, by the way, with Shaq, Charles, Ernie, and Kenny Smith. Best show on TV, must-see TV when they are on board on NBA TV. But Kenny Smith, overall, he knows basketball. He has a high intelligent basketball IQ. He just was wrong here. But let's move on, and let's talk about the Washington Redskins. And the title of this segment is, It's Time for a Change. The Washington Redskins officially announced they will be retiring the team nickname and the logo. Owner Daniel Snyder and head coach Ron Rivera are working closely to develop a new name and design approach for the Washington Redskins. Daniel Snyder said back in 2013 that he would never change the name. So are you surprised, Clarence, that Daniel Snyder is changing his approach and decided to change the name of the team? Are you surprised that he is finally going to do
it? Honestly, no, because I believe that Ron Rivera helped actually talk some sense into his mind that, hey, this is time for a change. It's very offensive to Native Americans and excuse me. And it's very offensive to him.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely is offensive for sure. But I think that what ended up ultimately happening was, I think the fact that Daniel Snyder had some of these sponsors that was going to take away some of their money that they were going to spend with the Washington Redskins, it affected him and made him ultimately want to change the name of the team. I think that was the reason why he ultimately did it. I think when people start affecting these owners' pockets, these owners are going to make the necessary changes that they need to be done. And I think that was the case here. I think for years, Daniel Snyder, he's one of those people that comes across as he's kind of stuck in his ways. And now that his money was going to be impacted, I think that is what promoted the change that needed to take place. And I think that Ron Rivera coming in as a new head coach for the Washington Redskins, I think he also, to your point, he might have talked some sense into Daniel Snyder and convinced him that this is the way that the Washington football team needs to go. And I'm glad that they're going to make this change. And it's been a long time coming. And I think it's just something that should have been done a long time ago. But Daniel Snyder was stuck in his ways. And when you start affecting these owners' pockets, they'll change some things up. And that's what happened here. But before we get out of here, I want to talk about one more thing real quick, and it was about Marcus Smart, because he had some comments on Jason Tatum. Everybody remember, go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H, also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. Clarence, I don't know, I'm trying to finish up here on the Worldwide Sports Network. We're talking about Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart came out and he said that Jason Tatum can, quote, be one of the greatest players to ever play the game of basketball. So the question here was going to be, is this a smart comment by Marcus Smart? So I'm going to answer this question. And I think it was a smart comment by Marcus Smart because I think Jason Tatum is one of the best players we have in the NBA. And he's obviously the number one option for the Boston Celtics. When you look at Jason Tatum in his career, you remember he had that breakout season in the playoffs against LeBron James back in the 2018 Eastern Conference Finals. He had that dunk on LeBron James, that furious dunk. He looking LeBron in the eye. Like, Jason Tatum is not scared of anybody. Like, Jason Tatum is an up-and-coming superstar. Make no mistake about it. Jason Tatum is a superstar and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with throughout the years of his career. I think Jason Tatum is on the come up. And when you look at his statistical stats this year, he's averaging 24 points per game on 45% shooting from the floor. He's led the Boston Celtics to the second overall seed in the Eastern Conference. I think Jason Tatum, can lead the Celtics to a championship, and he definitely is balling out overall. Everybody remember go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H, also on Facebook, Wise Guys. And be sure to follow Wise Guys on Instagram at These Guys Know Sports. This is Trey Larkins and Clarence Nixon on the Worldwide Sports Network. We signing off. We'll be back on Wednesday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Everybody, have a great night.
Hold on. No, a cold rag. Cold rag is right now. Cold rag. Okay. Dang. I ain't even know. All right.